G'day guys. So we're here for challenge 2. I hope you enjoyed the first one. The second one is of course following our online modules. So you're coming into our first pattern, and those of you that have practiced the first pattern and done it well will be able to find this challenge easy. The idea of this challenge is to make sure that you're having a good connection with your horse's body, and that your horse is really understanding the coordination and the order of the steps. So with these two things combined, your horse not running away from you and your horse not leaning against you, or that your horse is not running over the top of you, moving the front legs, or you are getting into your horse and your horse is leaning on you or trying to grab hold of you. This is testing these parts, that you have really the good understanding of how to influence your horse in the turn and how to have your horse really following where you are guiding the horse and where you want it to be, and that your horse is having a good understanding and some suppleness, the balance and coordination to have this good awareness of their body. So the extra part of this challenge is we are putting all those steps together from that first module, from that first pattern. We are doing the turning of the hind legs, left hind. We then individually, of course, will do the right hind. And then in the first module, we then do the front legs. So what happens is when you have all these things really well, is you then go to being able to put them together. So our challenge is to be able to put the order of supreme suppleness. This is making sure that your horse is not having any resistance in the body. And we put it in an order of inside hind to outside front to inside hind to outside front. So we're going left hind, left front, right hind, right front. And we want to be able to do this. The goal in the challenge is to do this without any stoppages, without the horse blocking, getting sticky, having a stop in the flow of the motion of the movement. So it's testing how supple your horse is and how clear and seamless your projection of energy and communication is with your horse. So this is an ultimate challenge to test how well you are communicating with your horse. But it's not the only thing we're going to do. We're also testing it by giving some guidelines. So we have a circle here. This is the circle of suppleness. And so we're going to aim to be able to do our pattern within this space. So this is giving you a guide. This is telling you how much your horse is making connection from inside hind to outside front, or how much your horse may be drifting in the exercises, not getting a connection from the hind leg to the front, not taking a sideward step with your front legs, taking a lot of backward steps, and not the step to the side that we're looking for. So this is going to be your map, your guide to test if you are having control and how much of the space you need to be able to get the perfect pattern. So beginning with the first challenge, entering the circle. Entering the circle, letting your horse first realize they're in the circle. This can sometimes, even in the beginning, this can be a little bit this awareness of, oh, now I'm in this space, in this small space. My circle is of an advanced size. So if we go from the outside with my very long, elegant legs, we are 2 meters to the middle. And because my circle's perfect, 2 meters to the outside. So 4 meters across. This is the advanced arena of suppleness right here. So to begin, we're going to break it down. So testing that you know first each of the individual movements. So depending on how your horse is, of course, we're doing the pattern in a way that really suits the horse, that it gives meaning. The horse has to understand the meaning of it. If you have a horse that's super sensitive, you're not going to be doing your exercise from a distance here. And if you have a super lazy horse, you're not going to be doing your first pattern by pushing up against your horse. So however your horse is, if they're sensitive, make your normal contact, make sure you can give the signs, body language, then the voice, then the touch, and make sure you can first do one hind leg, so in that space, in the way that suits your horse. Like I said, if your horse is sensitive, don't all of a sudden start trying to do it from a distance and make it all silky and magical, because it's a challenge. Still do the exercises in the way that gives the best meaning to your horse. So then we check, of course, we can do the other hind leg. So the bend on the connection, horse goes under, we're getting a good connection, right hind, left front. And we're able to do this within the advanced circle of suppleness. So if you want to start with something a little bit bigger, it's also possible. So starting with maybe 10 meters, 12 meters is also possible. And then we go to the front legs. So again, we're thinking of controlling the front leg behind and across as you need to for your particular horse, staying inside the line, going more backwards if necessary to stay inside the circle. Same with the front leg the other way. Across, behind, across, behind, across. And again, I test the other front so I can get that smooth before I think about putting it together. Across, behind, across. Good. So then once we've tested that we can have the good control of the feet, front legs backwards and sideways from the rein, and forwards and sideways with the hind leg from our leg, we can then begin to start the sequence or the order of movement between the feet. So starting always with the foot that's most confident. So the horse that is a little bit sticky behind and maybe more free in front, start the movement in front. So you start on the leg and the part of the horse, front or back, that has the most freedom of movement. And then you begin to start to create the first pattern. And then when you start to feel you get some softness, then begin to change. So front legs across, keeping an eye on your circle, hind legs the other way, a little bit more speed, get the activity to keep the suppleness, look for the right transition point, front legs the other way, a bit quicker, good, hind legs the other way. And all the time you're looking for this freedom of movement. Inside hind legs coming underneath the body, front legs across, in the circle, hind legs the other side. And all the time, if your bending is correct, your positioning and flow is correct, you will stay inside the circle and you'll be able to have a continuation of the movements with the transitions in between. One more time the front leg, very good, and one more time the hind leg, good. And then the finish. Good girl. So there it is, being able to have this continuation, this continual flow of movement within the boundaries, within the circle of suppleness. That's your challenge. So some difficulties you might have, which will of course show up in this circle of suppleness, is starting with the hind leg. Sometimes if the horse is not able to follow, have a good enough connection and following of the rein, the energy you put into the hind leg will start to flow through the outside front. So you get more of a drifting position rather than a position of connection, this connection from the back end to the front. So having that feeling that you're turning the hind leg and you're having a good connection here. Already here you can see she's drifting, she's more on a circle than actually turning, and then what happens is you drifting through the outside front. So you're getting, instead of this connection where she's turning around the inside front, you already will start to get the feeling that the horse is going more on a circle instead of turning and the bending shape, and then the circle ends up being a drifting and your shoulder will run away from you through the outside circle. So to fix that is to make sure that your inside hand is dictating the direction of your inside front, so that you have this alignment, the rein about the length of the neck, and this alignment here with the front leg, and that you have control of inside front, and that the inside front is not going too much here on a circle, but you have control here, that the horse is walking around the inside front. So avoiding the drifting, keeping control of your inside front will mean you get your turn really in the middle of your circle of suppleness, controlling here inside front, that the horse is able to turn with the hind legs on the outside of the circle while the front legs stay more on the inside of your circle. So that's the difficulties with the hind legs. The other difficulty you might have in staying inside the circle is the control of the front leg, where the horse may go too much backwards. So we're getting more backward steps than sideward steps. So for instance, you start to move the front leg, and then the front leg starts to get a little bit sticky. It's not moving so much, and you want to get it to the side, but instead your horse starts to go more back than sidewards. And of course, if we get too many steps backwards, we end up outside of our circle. So to correct this, it's to make sure that you continue to walk in the direction you want the horse to go. So when you are continuing to walk in this direction, really taking the foot to the side, that the horse is really feeling the direction this way, that we're really continuing just to walk in the direction we want the horse to go, and not that we get too fixated on the contact of the robe and we're taking more backward steps than sideward steps. So that will be, of course, then your failure. The other difficulty with the front legs is we can tend, if we have a horse that's more quiet or more pushy, is of course the horse starting to go forwards too much. Oh, you're on the edge of the circle. So making sure that you're not getting then in too close and the horse starts to lean on you, or you hold the rope too much, you keep hold of the rope and then the horse starts to lean on the rope and starts pushing forward. We want to make sure that the backward step is free and then the sideward step is also with as little contact as possible, so that we're not having the feeling that we're getting too much in under the horse, giving them the opportunity to push forward over us, out of the circle. We want to make sure that we're keeping the distance and we're keeping our turning of our front legs within the circle. So those are the difficulties, plus probably many more, but good luck with this challenge. I look forward to seeing you guys in your own circle of suppleness.